championship lead. But what will happen here tonight? We've already been down under the start this season, 13 rounds to go, ending up in Abu Dhabi some 510 miles from here. But there's a lot of action to get through before that, including some 29 laps tonight around this 3.36 mile circuit, top speeds reaching well over 200 miles an hour, and some elevation changes around those 15 turns around this quite historic circuit now. Opportunities to overtake are plenty around here, including into turn 1, as we saw in the pre-season race with Daniel Lorente able to pass Heideleo for the victory. Potential action for overtaking into turn 7 and 8, and potential for the punishing of mistakes, as we saw with Heideleo going off track and gifting the lead to Daniel Lorente just a few weeks ago. Also look for drivers pushing the limits through the flat out turn 12 and the braking zone of turn 13. Potential to get it right, but also to lose your lap time due to track limits. Pirelli have brought with them the hardest compound tyres in their range. It's the opposite end of the range compared with to Melbourne. Soft tyre the C3, medium the C2 and hard tyre the C1. Expect to see softs and hards as the preferred race tyres tonight. Well, and let's just get right into the action then, because things have already kicked off. And hopefully things will work, considering this has been quite a rushed start here. Well, rushed as in I've had to join the lobby late due to problems. But let's just see if I can get some telemetry stuff up. Looks like laps underway though. Just get that lap timer up just for the time being. Daniel Lorente already out on the mediums as he did last week, and just trying to get a nice lap just to do one lap and that be that. Looks like Sunshine joining the session, so potentially disconnected in that moment where I wasn't really looking at anything. And this now is up towards turn 12. Sector 2 split. 106.332. Purple again, but obviously the first car out there. And now we'll see how much does he use the outside of the track here. Yep, tries to extend as much as possible, runs it right the way wide on the exit, and first lap time is going to be put onto the board with a 1:28.0. A very good lap for the first one. Pastry looking to respond. 7/10 off on the softer compound of tyre. Who else currently out there? Looks like Salvers potentially crossing the line. Harley getting a bit of a toe there at the end of the lap. Slightly down on Pastry. That pace from Daniel does look ominous. Aston Martin, crossing the line. And fourth place. So, first few laps being put onto the board. McLaren of Linney coming towards the final corners around turn 15, which isn't really a corner, it's just a little kink on the straight up to the line, and that is not a representative lap time. Ferrari looks like going full pelt down the straight. Ferrari of Destro, it seems. Charging for the line. And 29.0, so a second off the best time we've seen. Only 0.3 off his teammate. As Haas driver crossing the line, that will be turn, that's Piggy I believe, up to the line and into 6th, so Not too bad, but surely can do better. As there is Who Kid on the board now, driving for the actual. And Harv, what a lap. Second place in the Williams. Fantastic. As the Williams comes into the pit lane, but Who Kid, the race winner from last week, right up there towards the sharp end on the mediums, so decent lap, should be enough to see it through into the top 15, Q2. And now we've got, is that Linny coming back into the pits? Senior Ghost's about to start a lap. Let's see how it goes. See if I can actually get some graphics going on, but it seems like I've bombarded the screen now, so... Oh no. Should be alright. Just turn off most of these things. Right, then that should be back to about normality. Senior Ghosts, very good lap so far. Purple in the first two sectors on the soft tyres. And now gunning to the line. And that's the fastest time by nearly 8 tenths, or just over 7 tenths per second. Who's that in the Mercedes? Harley? No. Nothing particularly going on. Looks like Perkins starting a lap. See how this goes. A bit unsteady into turn 1. Slightly missing the ideal line, but we'll keep going towards turn 4. Get the car turned in, not quite on the ideal line, slight correction on the exit. This is turn 6 and 7. 6 tenths down on Senior's time, but obviously that was a blistering lap in the Red Bull. Now, trickiest corner of the racetrack probably. Turn 10, get it slowed down. Get the exit. Nicely done. And now towards turn 11, where sometimes people like to knock out those brake marker boards, which I absolutely do not like when I'm having to try and work out my braking point, but it seems like they're still intact for the time being. Second sector done. And now just the last corner to negotiate, or last real braking zone. Last corner is just after the last braking zone of turn 14, now turn 15, and she looks for the line. And not a bad lap whatsoever. 9th place. There's now Dropux. Seems like he's going out on a lap. First lap of the session. Is going to the last corner is Sunshine into the pit lane. We got the light as well ahead. Who Kid? Is he pushing away on this lap? He is. 10th. Almost 2 tenths up in the first sector. not quite purple as much as the map will like to tell you. Now, Sauber of Charlotte Perkins is on the straight, but just making it back to the pits with promptness. It's Who Kid, the race winner from last week, over turn 12, now into turn 13. Doesn't quite cut over the curb, but it's still a decent line taken, and maybe his preferred line. As he looked to the last corner, brakes just in between the 100 and the 50 metre boards, slightly unsteady on the exit, doesn't use as much track as Daniel was earlier on, and crosses the line to improve by about 3.5 tenths. So not bad at all. That is also on the medium tyres, so probably the same compound as before, I would want to say. As who's out there now? We got the light improving by about 1.5 through the first 2 sectors on a time which currently puts him in 15th place and quite a large margin ahead. Dropbox though also on a lap, I think, going into turn 11. We'll see. As the light first finishes the lap on the medium tyres as well, so trying to get through on the slightly weaker compound, also a compound that's not particularly favoured in the race here compared to the softs and the hard tyres, as I said before. We'll now see Dropbox getting to the last corner, and we'll see what it is. Is he coming straight into the pits? No, can't take it as much as a track to the side, but in 6th place. Well, that was a strange line, kind of moving back over at the last second as well, but 1.4 seconds off his teammate. But 6th place. As we see Penguin Alex peeling into the pit lane. Have we got times? Sunshine looks like he's about to start a lap. So we'll ride on board. We'll see what he's got. So into turn 1. A lot of curb use there. Don't see that line often. Surely that wasn't ideal. And now down this straight, second consecutive DRS zone. What's the first sector time going to say? Slightly tight into that corner as well, really trying to use the curbs, and 1/10 and a bit up, so not bad, but going to need a bit more than that to make it out of this bottom 5. Jonathan with no lap time, Linny without a representative lap in the McLaren. Sunshine towards turn 10. Gets the exit over the curb, and now we'll race down towards turn 11 as drivers mainly in the pit lane at the moment. Who Kid deciding that that time is good enough. As Sunshine now will get the second sector time, and according to that screen that is a purple middle sector, but certainly good, 6/10 up, and certainly improving, and could potentially have a lap to get him out of that bottom 5, but it's quite a big gap to Riley. 1.1 seconds he needs to find as Sunshine finds the line, and only 16th, 2.5 seconds off. So that is Sunshine potentially out of this session, unless he's got any more time in him. We'll now see what Pastry's doing. Currently on a lap, I believe. Invalidated lap, it seems. So he'll need to go again, potentially, or might just be safe for that time, actually. Right, little Linny really needs a lap here, but isn't going to get it. So it was maybe on a lap, invalidated. Yep, 4.5 tenths up first sector. Must have invalidated in the middle sector. Little Linny in the McLaren out in Q1. As now we're going to watch the Sauber of Lass start the final qualifying lap. Really could do with an improvement out there, but Sauber's... Oh, Perkins going well. Lass, can he make it? Needs to find about half a second to beat Penguin Alex, but that's not taking into account any improvement from him. As first sector time comes in, slightly up on his own time, 7 tenths down on Senior Ghosts. As into this, once again, a tricky sector. Looks like a Mercedes has gone off there. Certainly. Must be Harley, I think, parked up. No, it was Daniel. He's very peculiar. Trying to get out of the way of these cars, but causing yellow flags on his outlap. As Lass still finding green sectors, but don't know if it's going to be enough. Now then, up to the line. Can't find the time. Destro doesn't improve. We got Vols to keep invalidated. TTV Wuvumux up to the line, 9th place. We got Sunshine not able to get an improvement with an invalid lap. And we see the Mercedes drivers getting towards the line. Harley currently down. Daniel Lorente won't be improving from here. Can the light find anything? A second up in the first 2 sectors. This is looking good. Is this going to be Penguin Alex saying goodbye? He's also on a lap. The light into 10th place. As now Piggy now. Last corner. Marginal improvement to the first 2 sectors. Safe. Penguin Alex, can he knock Voz to keep out? Yes, he can. By only 36 thousandths of a second. Penguin Alex into Q2. As Lass not improving on this lap. So that is it for the first part of qualifying. Here we have an Aston Martin, a V-Carb, a Sauber, a McLaren, and an Alpine drop. Big shock there with McLaren out in Q1. What can they do from there in the race? Well then, the 2 drivers there making it through on the mediums were Daniel Lorente and Hookid. Let's just see the lap times they've all set. Warning on that lap, but this doesn't seem to be invalidated. Must have just been another sort of warning. I mean, maybe speeding in the pit lane would be the warning, or not entirely sure. Riley, so having the same thing. Certainly not the easiest track to slow down in the pits, but not the most difficult. Just got to pick the point and stop. But Senior Ghost lays down the marker on the soft tyres though. We'll see what happens in Q2. Well, back for Q2, where in the first part of qualifying we lost McLaren of Linney, which was interesting. But anyway, the Sauber of Charlotte Perkins made it through. So, very, very good performance so far. Can she keep it going? We'll see on this first lap in Q2. As most drivers have exited the pit lane behind in the train, but now we just see Dropbox leaving the pits there, and the Haas behind. You still in the pits. Into turn 1 now. Charlotte Perkins. Six tenths down, not sure what's on, because that's the first lap that's been set, but we'll go with it, I guess. As now then we can see TTV by the end of today I will know how to pronounce that name. We'll just call him TTV in setting the purple, but then Daniel Lorente setting the purple per sector at the moment on used medium tyres. Halves out there on used soft tyres. So is Penguin Alex. As we'll see, Perkins now make the way around the final corner towards the line. 129.6. I believe the fastest in Q1 was at 27.2, 27.3, so quite a way off that. Obviously that was the Red Bull. There's TTV into third place, and Daniel Lorente with a 128.0, so matching from Q1. Penguin Alex over the line, and a 30.2. Pastry across the line in fourth. Harv with impressive pace once again. Arweb as well. Impressive pace. Dropbox in the middle sector. And we'll see what Hukid can do actually across the line first. Goes to third position. On those medium tyres, we'll see what Senior Ghost can do. He's out there because he's been particularly speedy. Looks to be setting down the marker, but all things can change in the race. All it takes is a DRS train and it could be anybody's game. As now Dropbox to the line, only 8th place. As we see Piggy looking for a lap time, 29.9, as Destro, I think that's Pastry going back round the pit, or back round the lap. Senior Ghosts, purple in the middle sector, on the medium tyres as well now, so this will be a back-to-back comparison. There's like a bit of debris there, it seems, from the Haas going across the track as Senior enters, but it's all okay. And does go fastest on the medium tyres, but that's a new medium, and Daniel Lorente on the used medium tyres at the moment. Well, in the pit lane, but that lap was set on used medium tyres. Destro now on a lap. See what he can reduce. Callum not racing in this race. Second place finisher from Melbourne. First sector for Destro. couple of tenths down on Senior Ghosts, but personal best, despite what that says again. First lap, you're not going to not set a personal best, but for some reason it likes to just show as a not a personal best. Destro, turn 9, turn 10, onto this alternative start-finish straight, which is also used for some of the series. And I believe F2 might have started there in the past as well. There's Destro to the top of the hill and sets another decent sector. Not lighting the timing pages a light, but certainly getting into that top 10 mix. Is now up to the line, goes into 7th place ahead of his teammate and Harv who was on the used tyres on that run. The light now into turn 13. Personal bests slightly down by about 3/10 on what Destro was doing before, but that's the difference between cars. You're not gonna. The ultimate lap time is going to be a lot quicker for that Ferrari. The light into 9th. Williams P8, P9. That puts Tropics into the elimination zone. So potentially might have to go on the quicker soft tyres. But it makes sense to burn up the mediums if you're going to want to use the softs for the race. As a race tyre. As now, it looks like we have some cars on alt laps. Pastry on the bubble needs a lap here. So we'll see what he can produce. On the soft tyres, Daniel Laurenti's already decided that his lap time's good enough. Senor Ghost not quite at that point yet. Harley, decent lap. Senor potentially trying the towing strategy with that tyre choice. Pastry, good first sector. In the mix. Certainly. But this is where the real lap time is, in these tricky corners. Turn 10, how much are you willing to push? So slightly wide of the apex. And now this is where you want to use as much track as you can on the entry to turn 11. Certainly brake on the curb. Swing it through turn 12. Towards the top of the hill, turn 13. Good first 2 sectors from Pastry. Certainly in the ballpark. As it's just one more braking point to spot. Down into 4th gear, picks up the throttle. Not as wide as some of the others across or through the final exit, but to the line. And that is 4th place. And certainly a much happier position. As it seems that R-Web is on a lap. Marginal improvement so far through the first sector. Throw the car in here. It's just very much flat out at all points of the race as well. And that is a legitimate purple middle sector. Slightly up on the best by just under, or just over 200th of a second. As this is certainly looking on form from our web. 3rd place in the V-Carb. Excellent lap. As Penguin Alex also improving. So Penguin Alex looking to escape a Q2 exit again. After being knocked out by his teammate, I believe, last week. His teammate last week was Will Lose. Now it's Piggy. It's Penguin Alex. really taking as little track as possible. Makes it to the top 10 before the final runs though, so can't get too excited yet. There's interesting line there, trying to get back to the pits obviously. There's Pastry coming back to the pits there as well. Harweb making his way back to the pits. Riley, the one really on an out lap. First one on an out lap for these final runs. Trying to get the tyre temperature. It's a lot of weaving, I must say. As we can see the tyre wear here. Tyre temperature. Don't look too bad. Wear only 1% throughout, so this will be the one. You want to get a lap with good condition tyres. I don't know how much fuel it's got. Looks like this is going to be the lap. As you do see them take this line in F1 Esports, certainly, where you really hug the pit wall before you start your lap. It's just the time, just the place that gives you the least, like, everyone gives you the best lap time. Gives you the least bumps on the straight. Not quite charged battery there though, interestingly. I just deployed a lot of it on the straight there, and then I won't have quite so much to play with in the next couple of sectors. This is turn 8. Running it not quite to the curb, but enough. And now 9 and 10. Gets a good exit out of turn 10. Deploys a little bit more battery, but on the reserves now. Slightly wide at turn 11. That's going to cost him time. Turn 12. Keep it tight as you can. Turn 13. But good first 2 sectors from Riley. As he's now going to spot the final braking point. Get the car in and pin it for the line. And what's it going to be? Up 1 position to 6th. As behind there we have Dropbook starting a lap. We have Piggy as well starting a lap behind. But further back, I think we've got Williams improving. Aston Martin here. TTV finding time. Finding a decent chunk in the first sector. And keeps that going in the second sector with a big improvement. So Penguin Alex remains in the top 10 for now, but there's got to be drivers queuing up to beat that, surely. As TTV crosses the line and Penguin Alex is out of qualifying again. In 11th place. But is on an outlap, but will not make the line. So that is it. As behind, Charlotte Perkins makes it into the top 10 for the time being. Also, I think starting a lap there was the light. As well as, we'll see what the first sector time is anyway. No, it doesn't look like that's a push lap, and we see Dropbook's 4/10 up. Not enough at this point to get into the top 10, but we'll see what the last sector is. Into 8th. Piggy behind. Stays in 15th. As now behind there is improving in the Ferrari is Destro. Destro makes 6th position. Who Kid at risk of being eliminated, which has happened as Harv has gone into 4th place, and Who Kid, the race winner from last week, is out in the second part of qualifying. As drivers improved, the track ramped up, and the race winner is out of qualifying in the second part. Well then, we've lost another McLaren, Williams, second Sauber, and the two Haas drivers in this session. Senior Ghosts once again tops the session. Slightly slower time, but on a weaker compound, of course. And yeah, Dropbox making it in by 21 thousandths. Riley by just over a tenth and a half. Two Ferraris make it through. Harley, good position as well after retiring slightly early. Harv and R-Web, certainly high performers so far. But we'll see what happens in Q2, from Q2 into Q3. Senor Ghosts tops the session. Piggy eliminated 15th. Fine margins between going through and going out. But both McLarens, who would have predicted that? Both McLarens out before we get to Q3. Certainly not on anybody's mind, really. We would have expected at least one McLaren in Q3. We're going to get 0. Welcome back to qualifying. It's time for Q3. Time to see fastest drivers. The top 10 drivers so far compete for pole position, as we see 3 cars from very close proximity to each other. Interesting. And we look forward to seeing who can really push the limits now. Some of those drivers towards the front not had to break a sweat yet, but now this is where every millisecond may count. So looks like Daniel is towing Harley, who's towing Riley. This is going to be some crazy lap time from Riley, probably, with a double slipstream, but is it distracting? Is Harley going to get in the way? Is Daniel going to give dirty air to Harley? Probably not, because that's not how this game works, but we'll see what happens. Harley certainly will get a nice slipstream. First sector times going to be coming in pretty soon, as I'm now just going to see the times come through. Daniel Lorente purple in the first sector, and Riley and Harley slightly slower. So Daniel still holding that advantage despite not having a slipstream in this session. And now this is where you didn't want a driver in front of you through that section, but now on this back straight, this is where you do want to slipstream again. But Daniel meeting turn 11. This is now turn 12. Riding the curve beautifully. Turn 13, right out to track limits. This is a great lap so far from Daniel, as he's now going to try and get one final corner perfected. Turn 14, right out to the line again, keeping it within track limits, up to the line, and lap time comes through incredibly late. We wait an age to see a 26.6. What a lap from Daniel. Absolutely clear of the others so far. Halve there, a second off, but in Williams it's a good effort. Now then, Senya Ghosts to start his first Q3 effort. Can he get up to that 26.6? Surely he's capable of it. We've seen it before with already a very good lap in Q1, which was low 1 minute 27.1. A low 1 minute 27, not 27.1. It was in a region of 27.2, 27.3, which is quicker than what Harve's done. Sunshine's left the session, but not in this Q3 session particularly. Senya Ghosts 28.0 in the first sector, running it wide through there, as we're now going to see him make it to turn 11. Slightly down on Daniel in the first sector, but not by much. So now turn 13, and once again lap times are not coming through at the quickest pace, but we'll check with the lap time as he crosses the line. As Senya Ghost sets a... We wait for it, drum roll. Something odd is going on. See the time in the top right? It'll, like, when it gets to about 1:26, then we'll see what the lap time was. Strange. Senya Ghosts, second place. Not that far off Daniel, but 2/10 is a decent margin for Daniel to have, as the Ferrari drivers have made it. Well, one of them has made it. 5th place for Pastry. Destro into 6th, as the lap times come through, once again delayed. Which is certainly a peculiar thing to have. We just have to do the old, like, Alonso, like, checking everyone's lap times after the session. And then, what lap time did you do? Didn't know who was on pole. Just had to go around and ask. We might not know until about 30 seconds after the last driver crosses the line. Unbelievable. Well, no one out there on a lap at this point. Just going back to the pits, we'll check in on what the fastest lap time, fastest sector times have been so far. Daniel Lorente in the first sector. Senya Ghosts in the middle. And Daniel Lorente in the third sector. So it's going to be nip and tuck. A pole if Senya can find a bit of pace through that first sector and third sector. Or Daniel might be looking to find time in the middle. Or they might just find time in all 3 sectors. We'll find out in roughly 4.5 minutes time. R-Web looking to get back out on track nice and early so far. 7th position for R-Web. Good position for the V-Carb, certainly. But Harve with an excellent lap, really, to be there in 3rd position, the Williams. So R-Web looking to get out there nice and early. We've got he's 2 seconds currently off the fastest, but unsure of how representative that previous lap was, or the age of tyre. But we'll find out now where he stacks up. As we now see Riley also out slightly earlier once again, as R-Web just looks to warm up those tyres in preparation for what could be a final lap in qualifying. But we've got plenty of fuel, so that will mean more laps are available if this one doesn't go quite to the plan. As R-Web now, turn 1, brakes late, gets the turn in, slight wobble, but gets the power down. You need to get the power down quickly out of there, really help your lap time. And now should put the car as wide as possible, open up turn 4, brake just at the start of the curb, take it as wide as you dare. And now turn 6, didn't quite get the inside there. Turn 7, keep it flat. Turn 8, no, doesn't quite catch the inside again, but finding time. But obviously we don't know about the lap times, they might be coming in late, so well, a tenth and a bit up through the first sector. And now there's actually going to be a tow here from Senor, who seems Red Bull family doing a little bit of a strategy there, but R-Web doesn't quite again get the inside for turn 11, much as he'd want. Let's see what he does for turn 13. And this time he properly attacks the inside, gets the apex, 8 tenths down through the first 2 sectors, but certainly better than his current lap. Doesn't quite catch the inside again for the last corner, but we'll see what the lap time is. Up to the line and into 4th place. Certainly a decent effort, as now Senor Ghost is going to be on the lap. What can Senor Ghosts do? Senor Ghosts looking to find some lap time, and again the towing strategy being employed from the Red Bull family as R-Web gives it back. Says thank you to Senor for the slipstream. As we wait for the first sector time from Senor Ghosts, marginally down on Daniel Lorente, but just needs to get to provisional pole, and then anything can happen. As the timing board still says outlap, but it doesn't look like he's on an outlap to me, as the middle sector will be ticked off soon. Turn 11 to the top of 12, braking for turn 13 just after that advertising board on the right, and he's 2.5 tenths or almost 3 tenths up on Daniel Lorente in the first 2 sectors. This is certainly a lot more like the Senor Ghosts we expected to see in this Q3 session, as runs it as wide as possible through the last corner and charges for the line and sets the fastest lap with a 1:26.495, as Harley behind on now starting a lap. There's all sorts of slipstreaming going on. Destro 2.5 tenths up first sector, also saying on an outlap. This is absolute chaos, as it seems like Daniel Lorente is actually on a lap because his timing page is just broken, and now he's actually a few tenths up through the first 2 sectors. This is going to be tight for pole position. Daniel Lorente to the line. What's it going to be? It's pole position for Daniel Lorente by a 1/10 of a second. He's done it in Bahrain for the 2nd time this season after pre-season as well. And now we just see Riley's not on a lap. What are the Ferraris doing as Destro is going around the last corner now? This is absolutely broken, this timing screen. Destro is going for the line. Destro, what position are we looking at for Destro? Destro goes from 7th and doesn't seem to be moving in position, but was certainly up. Destro improves time but not position. Harley now, as we see lap times from Dropbox come through, I believe. Harley was not improving. Pastry on a lap. Looks like Pastry was up as a few drivers crossed the line, and we'll wait to see what the final pecking order was. But we know Daniel Lorente was on pole with an excellent lap at the end. There we go, Daniel Lorente taking pole position by a 1/10 of a second and taking it over Senior Ghosts and beating his qualifying lap by about 6/10 from pre-season. But obviously pre-season was a short qualifying. This was a full qualifying, as even some of the tyres are missing because of all that. But we know they're on the soft tyres. We know they've, yeah. We know the tyres they were on. All right, waiting for the start of this race. As said before, soft and hard the tyres, but drivers will have their preference. Mediums can be used, but not particularly the best. Still joining the session, some drivers. That's Piggy joining. And now we go to 5 red lights in Bahrain, and it's lights out and away we go. And I believe this is a race start, and Daniel Lorente is under pressure from Senor Ghost towards turn 1. Senor Ghost on the inside takes the lead. Slight wobble. Daniel Lorente comes back, and now we'll have the outside line towards turn 4. We have the TTV driver behind in the Aston Martin challenging on the inside there of Dropbox, who's into 4th. Now looking to get into 3rd. TTV on the inside there, keeping the position. Hookid up many positions on the start, as we see going very wide is Dropbox, as that is not going to help. And a stream of cars now in the middle of the pack, going very close. Says down the inside goes the House of Penguin Alex on Harv, as we see a bollard in the middle of the track, as the V-carb of R-Web looks to the inside, as we see in the background the Sauber going close and potentially having a go here at Jonathan, but backs out. Linny jumping the start is interesting. Thought there might have been a lobby restart at that point, but we're racing on as we see some race strategies. I don't think anybody's going to be doing a 2-stop. Well, they might be. I don't think so. And Senor Ghost does set the fastest lap and has the race lead, as down the inside goes the Aston Martin of TTV into turn 1 on Daniel Lorente, and did that catch Daniel out there. They both have DRS, as the Ferrari in the background there is defending, it seems. R-Web and Pastry swapping positions, as now they still go wheel to wheel, as we see another possible race strategy. I mean, we've already seen enough, but it seems like we're going to see more, as Hookid now challenging Destro as Dropbox, and Harv battle as well. Harv now on the outside, Dropbox on the inside. Harv, is he going to be squeezed to the outside? He tries to cut back, And he's able to try and get the position as Who Kid as well, battling away with Destro up there. Who Kid still in 6th position, but taking a very wide line through there into turn 12. Can he get round the outside into 13? Thinks about it, but can't quite find the space as Senor Ghosts has broken away out front. Daniel Lorente will not be wanting that, but with DRS should get back in, you'd think, of Senor really pushing away at the moment. As another fastest lap of the race, Daniel Lorente on the hard tyres though, so that will be why he's dropping back, as not within that range at this point in the race, as Dropix and Penguin Alex go wheel to wheel. Dropix contact, it seems, and Penguin Alex is in 7th, and now Arweb looking potentially at Dropix, but both part of the same family. Dropix a little bit wide. That will allow Arweb to potentially get alongside, but thinks against it, as we see Riley here ghosting through Lass, and Lass potentially looked under pressure from the car behind, but wasn't in the end, as now Daniel Lorente has found his way within that 1 second mark. Senor Ghosts already on 24% tyres, as you see a mix of tyres really. TTV, Wuvumks behind has dropped back behind that 1 second, so not ideal. But we see a few sets of trains really. The train for the lead, first second, train just behind for the final podium. Then we see the train to 7th onwards as Pastry now takes the place, it seems, on half, as we also see Penguin Alex with DRS now going to be challenging in towards turn 1. Dropix not having DRS. What's Arweb going to think here? Is he going to go for a move on Penguin Alex towards turn 1? Has the outside line, wheel to wheel on the inside here, and Penguin Alex takes position for now, but doesn't seem like either driver there is getting DRS as Arweb dives to the inside. Can Penguin Alex get a cut back as position swap, and we see a DNF from Sunshine, who looks to have retired and left from this session out there, as Vosdekeep and Riley swap about positions. Daniel Lorente now right on the back of Senor Ghosts. Did drop down to 3rd at one point, Daniel Lorente, as TTV Wolvumks trying to have a go at Harley here to the outside into turn 13 and trying to squeeze it, and now Who Kid as well getting involved. Who Kid now with the run potentially on the outside. Does Who Kid want to get himself involved? He'll get the cut back nicely on Harley. He'll take the position on Harley. He'll get DRS. He'll look to get to the final podium spot as Daniel Lorente on the main straight takes the lead. Who Kid behind. It's a huge battle for the final podium spot. Who Kid into turn 1 takes the 3rd place. But now Harley will not be giving this up. Neither will the Aston Martin driver. As Harley looks to the inside, tries to unsettle the McLaren, but the McLaren breaks away. As yellow flag, I believe, was deployed. Penguin Alex, and this battle still ongoing. Dropix also there, just in front, as Penguin Alex has a little look to the inside, as it seems like Harley can't quite keep up with Who Kid, still with DRS, but not quite able to get the right pace, as Wumks to the inside, but Harley maintaining the position for now as they go through turn 13 and they keep going. Who Kid on that last lap 8/10 quicker. So that is why Aston Martin want to get this move done, as there might be another swap for the race lead, as there's contact between Destro and the Aston Martin of Rumsk. And as Senor Ghost does have the lead once again, but alternate strategies from those two, let's just say that for a fact. As finally, Aston Martin has taken a position, as swapping back further back as well. We've got this huge midfield train, which Harv seems to be wanting to have a go at leading. Does. And now can Harv chase after Destro? Certainly wants to do that, but whether he's got the pace. Should have slightly better tyres by this point on the hards, you think, than the softs, so there's potential. Just say that for a fact. Vosdekeep and Riley once again going for it towards turn 10. Vosdekeep will get a slightly wider line, potentially set up an exit, and gets a lot of overspeed, and could have deployed some battery as well, but doesn't really want to go for the position now anyway, as Daniel Lorente tracking behind again. These two are breaking away. Hukid not able to keep up without DRS, and that little battle with the Aston Martin and Mercedes of Harley there kind of cost him, as Daniel Lorente goes for the lead, and it is that going into the pit lane, Aston Martin and Wurum's taking a chance to try and get some fresh tyres on here, medium tyres. And is this going to be a different kind of strategy from Aston Martin? Are they going to try and stop more than once? Because that's a long way to go on medium tyres, that's for sure. As Destro, as we see in the background there, I believe Webb potentially battling Linney. Is he going to be retiring in the pits? Is he still going? Surely you've got to keep going at this point. All the chance for a safety car. Riley and Vosdekeep once again battling. There's Dropux, and there's Penguin Alex going slightly wide on the exit at turn 10. Charlotte Perkins tracking this battle, as we see Riley going for the inside on Vosdekeep. And can they keep it clean as they race up towards turn 13? Oh, the advertising board seems to have come loose, as Dropux is back here now with these two. Something going awry there, something going wrong for Dropux, it seems. And I got sucked right into this scrap behind. Charlotte Perkins able to get away, as we have more drivers heading for the pit lane now. As we do. Dropux. Wonder if Dropux got damage. Didn't seem like it. He went 2 seconds, so not the best turn in there from Dropux. As Riley gets the 2.4 standard stop. As now you see Harley following Destro. Harley with a good first race of the season. Looking to keep that going today. Harley finished on the podium, I believe, in Melbourne, so be looking to charge through for that today. It'll be quite a tall order to catch up to the front runners now, but safety cars can be deployed at any point. So now R-Web tracking Pastry, Senor Ghost and Daniel Lorente unable to shake each other off. This is going to come down to the alternate strategies. There's a safety car. About now, maybe, you could potentially get Senor to the end and Daniel Lorente will have to not be able to go to the end. So then you might have a risk being taken there from Daniel Lorente as they once again swap positions. But this is just going to be happening every lap, so not really much to cover. Harley now on Destro. Looks to switch the line. Can't quite get it, but now with DRS should be able to get to the outside and should be able, but just doesn't quite have the overspeed. And Destro running slightly wide. Harley as well, just trying to make it around the outside, but unable to in the end as they do make contact. And Harley still frustrated now, losing big amounts of lap time. And Destro still holding on to that position. Penguin Alex and Charlotte Perkins, they are swapping positions, as surely now Harley will look to set it up for the main straight. Destro is probably going to be pitting anyway, so that will just be a huge waste of time for him, but huge waste of time for Harley. But Destro not too bothered at the moment. Harley making up some positions from the start, but obviously drivers pitting has enabled him to fully get onto this position. We'll see as it comes towards the end of the race, as once again the top two swap position, and it's very close to contact again, almost banging, and Harley will get DRS and get the chance to pull away, as there's Harv in the background. So Harley the fourth for the time being. Webb being overtaken by Harv, as Senya Ghosts still holding on for those soft tyres. Positive keep deciding to get rid of them now. Our tyres mainly being used. Riley did go on to the fresh medium, so probably won't be able to make the end of the race from there. As now then we do see a move to the inside there for Riley, and over the curb, not the cleanest of overtake attempts, and now that might give the initiative to Dropux to try and get past. But Dropux not burning, as behind we have Lass diving to the inside on Jonathan. Are they going to run each other off track? Looks like Jonathan did have to leave the track there, but Lass still in the position on 2-lap-old softs against Jonathan's 1-lap-old hard tyres, as Jonathan shapes to the inside. Jonathan, is he going to win the traction race? You think it'd be difficult on those tyres? As once again they almost collide, as it looks like Lass, well, Jonathan had outbraked himself, but I'm sure if that's because of the behaviour of the Sauber, as now Senya Ghosts in the pit lane, going for the hard tyres. Kukid as well, going for the hard tyres. This is where Daniel Lorente needs to earn his big bucks. He needs to make the difference on these old tyres to give him the best opportunity at the end of the race on new tyres to come back through to take victory. Because without a safety car, there will be a gap between them, but it just depends. How quickly does Senya want to go now? How quickly can Daniel go at this point of the race? As we need to see how this is going to shape out. As Harv and Harley go wheel to wheel. Worst camera angle I've ever seen, but Harley in second place as they almost pushing each other through turn 10. Not ideal for their overall lap time. Yellow flag. There seems to be Jonathan, I want to say, losing time as Harv makes the move into turn 11 to take second place on the road. But it won't be second place after the pit stops. So we've now got Daniel Lorente leading this race out on his own, having started on pole. But we've got Senya Ghost as the main competitor to challenge for that victory. And we will see how this will shape out. So we'll see as Harv, Webb and Harley swapping positions again. But as long as they swap smartly, they'll gain time, but if they start battling, really not going to help them. As now Harley will switch back because there's not been the best exit from R-Web, and Harley makes a move in a tight place of the track, and Harv looking to potentially cut back here towards turn 9. Is there a potential move into turn 10? But he really shouldn't be trying to battle too much, as they almost seem to close up pretty quickly, but inseparable at this point. These three, and there's Senior Ghosts in the background, gaining at the moment, but as you can see, sector 2, sector 3 of the last lap by a decent amount, but how much is that is actually due to? I mean, it's got to be due to his tyres, but also just these three are battling quite a lot. The DRS will be gaining them time, as Vozdekeep makes a move on Penguin Alex, as we'll now see Harley, is he peeling towards the pits? Yep, Harley boxing for Mercedes, so he'll be going for the hard. That should be a nice, comfortable finishing stint for about 17 laps, and then Senor still gaining. Last lap was 31.2, Daniel 31.7, so only half a second difference. Daniel doing a good job, and now has a 19.1 second lead over Harv, who hasn't pitted. We see Piggy in the pit lane back there. I did see disconnected, so that looks like an AI pit stop, which is interesting. As Vozdekeep and Harley now straight out the pits, going a bit sideways, Vozdekeep, and that's going to allow Penguin Alex to take the place as well over the curb. And Dropbox will be watching this battle, wanting to gain some positions. Also Riley involved. But this is Harley, good opportune moment there just to try and escape from these other drivers before Harv and R-Web decide to pit, because they will likely be coming in soon. R-Web probably this lap, you'd imagine. Harv might be able to hang this out a bit longer, as we do see R-Web going towards the pits. So R-Web in the pit lane, Crew Kid with the fastest lap on 30.5, about a tenth quicker, as that is not going to be ideal for the Aston Martin team. A 10-second penalty for speeding, and now the race takes shape a bit, as that was a second pit stop, I believe, for Aston Martin. Well, there'll surely be some drivers one stopping, as that's very deep from Penguin Alex, and Harley goes straight back through on the cutback, and now it looks like R-Web will be looking for the inside. We have Vozdekeep on the outside. R-Web and Penguin Alex make contact. Yeah, are they going to give space into this tricky, tight section? R-Web just squeezing ahead, as off the road in the background goes Dropbox, as R-Web in 8th. This has given Harley a nice gap now, and this is very close racing, as there's a Vozdekeep off the track there on the inside of the Red Bull of Dropbox. Interesting line being taken, and penalty awarded for track limits, so that was not ideal. Senior Ghosts now is in the slipstream. Harv surely will be trying to fight as much as he can, because he really does want to help out Daniel Lorente, but Senior Ghosts makes the move. Not much Harv could do, unless he can fight back with DRS, but surely Senior will be able to outbrake any manoeuvre, as the Ferraris switch positions, as Charlotte Perkins getting involved now. Perkins, as that's Penguin Alex on the inside of R-Web. And they run each other off track, it seems, Penguin Alex and R-Web now. So it goes chaotic. There's a battle, and drivers going off track in combat on the track. Interesting to see what the stewards think of that. But the race carries on, of course. And now, well, all these drivers battling it away for the minor points positions. Yellow flag. As is that the light slowing down slightly? Not entirely sure, but the Ferraris helping each other out. As Senor Ghosts is trying to charge down Daniel Lorente. 1.1 seconds gained on the last lap, but Daniel Lorente still needs to pit. And they'll come out, and he will come out behind, but he'll be able to try and make a difference on new tyres. As Ferrari still going through in 5th and 6th. Playing a team game at the moment. As Perkins battling away with R-Web now. Perkins just trying to throw onto the inside almost to put off R-Web, and a little bit wobbly on the curb. A little bit squirrely. And not what you want to do when you're trying to go for an overtake, but it can happen. As Penguin Alex seems to have been involved in quite a few scraps out there today, but certainly not opposed to that on the basis of this race. As Dropix leads this Gagler cars, Dropix, Alex and Vozdekip's penalties are 3 seconds. TTV Wuvum's penalty is a 10-second for speeding. No other drivers with penalties, as now it seems that Who Kid is right on the back of Harv, who hasn't pitted yet. Who Kid, who did pit about 5 laps ago, looking for a move to get up into another position and gaining a lot on the last lap. And now we'll be looking for a simple move on the straight as Harv peels into the pit lane anyway. So that was very nice. As Who Kid trying to charge down the race leaders. And apart from the first few laps where he lost time behind Harley, has actually done a good job, really. 4.5 seconds behind Senor, remained about the same. So certainly had leading pace as this battle once again resumes in the midfield. As there is Harv going out the pits, and it looks like Penguin Alex has taken Dropix off track as well now. Unbelievable. As Dropix spins and also retires from the race. So Penguin Alex not giving an inch as Dropix has retired, and Vozdekip now trying to go by on Penguin Alex, and Penguin Alex not willing to give way, seems to have any way of trying to stop any driver is being used, as there's contact between Vozdekip and Penguin Alex. And it seems like Vozdekip was going for a move down the inside and they made contact. Unsure of if Vozdekip was too deep or if Penguin Alex just decided to turn in, but Penguin Alex once again involved in another incident in this race. As I'm sure Perkins will be proceeding with caution at this point, because you don't want to be involved in an incident when you're in a Sauber and you're on for some very good finish at this point, really. Clear Penguin Alex. Vozdekip on all the tyres. You've got a very good position, really. Riley will potentially charge back through as the Ferraris once again swap, trying to keep Harley at bay. As now Charlotte Perkins will activate the DRS and gain about an extra 20 miles an hour and will make the move on the straight. As now Penguin Alex will try to fight back. Penguin Alex with DRS potentially looking into turn 4, but just remains behind. As we'll see now where the pace is. Harley almost, now is within the DRS of the Ferraris, so they're going to have some teamwork there to try and hold off Harley's charge. Harley looks like he's not really involved in a battle for the podium, but Daniel Laurenti now pitting for the soft tyres to go to the end of the race. So now we'll see as he now comes out of the pits. Senor Ghost certainly been chipping away, but now they will resume battle. As now is Hukid going to undercut Daniel Laurenti? No, not quite. And now Daniel Laurenti might be almost pulling along Hukid in the end of this. So that's definitely not what Senor wants. He does a little wiggle, which normally means wants to work together, or maybe he's just trying to get heat into the tyres, trying to read the messaging. But now this battle with Harley has ensued, as the Ferraris are going to just park the car, make the car as wide as they can, as Penguin Alex takes the position back on Perkins. But we'll see Harley now towards turn number 4. To the inside goes Harley. Harley trying to get the power down as efficiently as possible. Destro's still there. Destro now watches on. Harley's cleared one Ferrari. Can he get the other one? Certainly with great pace at this point, Harley. And we'll be looking to consolidate a 4th place finish. As Senor Ghosts now under major pressure from Daniel Laurenti, who's pumping in purple sectors, as Hukid has now been dropped, so any chance of staying and closing up to the lead battle is not happening at this point. Surely on this lap Daniel Laurenti will go for a fastest lap attempt. Perkins close to Penguin Alex, as now Harv is also there battling away with the Ferrari of Destro, as move to the inside from Destro as Harley makes contact with Pastry, it seems, and also Harv making contact potentially with Destro. There's more contact made in this race, both drivers with DRS. Harley pulling to the inside. Harley, is he looking for a dive bomb move towards turn number 1 as Destro keeps the place, but surely it's only a matter of time before these drivers behind make the overtake. Harley thought he'd got the job done when he got past on the last lap, but now finds himself back behind both Ferraris who are willing to put up a fight, and this is what R Web wants to see. Drivers battling away, just giving the lap time back, and now Harley to the inside in turn 8. They bang wheels. Hukid with a penalty for multiple warnings, as Harley trying to pull the Fernando Alonso into turn 10. There's contact, and Destro still in the position, but now Harv pulling to the inside. Harley getting past Destro. Now towards turn 11. Destro and Harv make contact now, and Harv taking the position over Destro, as now Daniel Laurenti in the DRS of Senor Ghost setting the fastest lap. It's all kicking off here. Hukid, after getting that penalty, deciding to pit for softs, potentially try and get a fastest lap, but any more laps and he'll have got the bigger gap to the drivers behind, as Daniel Laurenti has taken the lead into turn 4 from a long way back, it seemed there, but his pace has just been absolutely rapid and was able to get by. So Daniel Laurenti now leads 19% on the tyres, and how well will the soft compound last, as there's Piggy ghosted, having not been connected to the race for a while, as this battle once again is kicking off between Harley, and there's Pastry banging into the side of Harley as Pastry holds it alongside, but Harley, despite being banged into, has taken a place, and Pastry very deep there. Harley will get the cutback. Harley into 5th. Harv, though, into 4th. Destro overtaking Pastry, as according to my sources over here, Harv has got some sort of diffuser damage, but I'm unsure of the validity of that claim, just what the software is telling me. There's also Alex has got rear wing, and the driver in 11th place, the Aston Martin, has got diffuser as well. So just what I know at this point, but we'll check those claims after the race. As there is the Aston Martin I was speaking about, TTV Wuvumsk, and we're taking Perkins, but with a penalty at this point of the race. 10 seconds as previously stated. This battle with Harley still ongoing, as Harley behind Harv. There is Destro getting awfully close there. We see the mix of strategies. Main contenders are on the on the one stop compared to the two, as Perkins looking for the move. It seemed like Penguin Alex was going very slowly there, having picked up front wing damage, so something has gone on between Aston Martin, Sauber and Haas, which has resulted in damage now, and this is going to be Jonathan getting squeezed by Alex. Alex with damage, slightly unaware there. Don't know what Jonathan's doing. He should just be able to scoop past. Alex now into turn 8, goes deep, hits Jonathan. And Penguin Alex once again involved with contact. We missed damage. That one we certainly saw, but my word, this has not been the race he's been hoping for. That's for sure. As the battle seems to have, the Ferraris dropping off ever so slightly, but their straight line speed is so good, as we know. Crooked with the fastest lap on those fresh tyres. Daniel Lorente, 3.3 seconds in the lead now, so has made the strategy work, as his tyre wear is just about to cross over with Senior's, but obviously tyres do matter, like, as the compound of the tyre do matter. As I thought I saw contact there, but I think it's just the Haas ghosted again, causing chaos, as Harley just settling in behind. Penguin Alex now retiring from the race, and that is a safety car. And this is what we've been waiting for, as on the main straight, Penguin Alex, his car seems to be in many pieces there, reduced to not a lot, and this is what we've been waiting for. And Daniel Lorente might just, well, be thinking that this race was his, but now there is an opportunity, as drivers now surely peeling into the pit lane. Linney almost a lap down, but will be back in this race just as he'd hoped early on when he kept going on the hard tyres, and now reaps the rewards of the safety car. Send your ghosts, of course, pitting. They'll all be pitting. Penalties at this point. If you've got a penalty of track limits, this is, could be costly, really, because Hooker's going to be in this battle, but has a 3 second. Are any of the race leaders going to get penalties? That 10 second will be able to be removed from TTV Wuvumsk, which is exactly what he wants to see, as we're going to see an array of soft compound tyres on every driver on this grid, as we're going to go to about the last 5 lap shootout. He's done it again. TTV Wuvumsk with another penalty, speeding in the pits just as you thought he could get it removed. He will get the first one removed, then he's going to get another penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Come on now. If I was him, I would be peeling in again the next lap and just making sure I don't speed. There we go, medium tyres, so surely that is what he's going to do. He's going to pit this lap, then pit again next lap. Doesn't matter if he's lost positions, because you'd rather not have the 10 second, of course. Riley going for mediums as well, though, so potentially medium's an option, but with everyone on the softs, you want to be on the softs as well, because it's going to take a while for mediums to overtake softs, and also mediums not very, very preferred at this circuit. So see an array of the same tyres for everyone. But this is exactly what we want to see for a bit of chaos at the end. I thought we'd already seen enough crashes, but we might see a few more here. As Senor will be licking his lips because he didn't quite have the right strategy, or just didn't quite have the pace on either strategy to beat Daniel Lorente, but now options all open. As Hookid, coming back from 11th place, I believe, has risen up and was looking comfortable for a podium, but now could even be in the battle for the race win. So, safety car just this way down the track. Penguin Alex, that was an interesting crash. Don't know if there was any other drivers involved, but was just left stranded with a demolished car in the middle of the track. So, I'm not sure of what happened there. Potential just like crash into the barrier at the side. I don't know. How do you crash in the middle of the main straight? Unsure at this point, but well, that is the scenario we've been given. So, yeah, this is just exactly sort of scenario which has happened so many times before in this league and other leagues and real life. And are there any lapped cars? Well, obviously the Haas, but that's obviously ghosted, so it doesn't matter, but will kind of be in the way, but I will just drive straight through. No lapped cars then. No shenanigans, and let's just have some proper racing for once. And hopefully people can keep it clean, because obviously we've seen quite a few instances of contact so far. Destro, Pastry given another lease of life. Arweb and Harv was particularly looking quick there with Harley. They were kind of escaping from the cars behind, but now obviously everyone's got the same tyres. As it seems like the Aston Martin has not decided to pit again. Sources still say diffuser damage, but we'll have to check in after the race to see what that is about. As I'm just going to a little scan through, see the penalties there. As safety car still just grouping everybody up down. Riley is the first driver who hasn't caught the pack yet, but certainly will be able to before safety car comes in, which will probably be the end of this next lap. As Kid really desperate to try and get through on the Haas as you'd want to, because it's going to be a bit of a hindrance, because often when there's an AI car there on the safety car restart, the leaders will be gone and you can't actually overtake without getting like an illegal overtake, just because the Haas, like, they're not going to be that responsive. So can't really overtake though, because if it was an AI car you could kind of push them out to the side of the track, but as a ghosted car you're unable to. Senior Ghost will be able to set a lap time probably near the fastest lap at this point, because obviously new soft tyres, and Senior Ghost lap time is from quite a while ago, I think even from like near the start of the race. But look back at the intervals, see the changing in position as Jonathan comes right from the back of the grid to 11th, as TTV Wumsk not pitting again, but with a 10-second penalty there as well, so not trying to get that penalty removed, and now it's going to be difficult to score points from there with a 10-second penalty, but each to their own. There's now most drivers on that two-stop strategy because of safety car. A lot of them were on the one-stop before, which was looking like the preferred strategy. But now drivers eager to get going with this again. Safety car will probably be coming in at the end of this lap, we would imagine, as they are going to announce soon. And there is the message we've been waiting for. Safety car in at the end of this lap. So now Daniel Lorente becomes the effective safety car, and we have a bunching of the pack before he decides to get going. So warming up those tyres. How early or late does he want to go? As you can see, working that temperature in. And Wurmsk with another 10-second penalty. There's all sorts of contact going on back there, as there's all sorts of changing in position. What is going on here? Can't even behave behind a safety car. As Daniel Lorente there. What is going on here? Running wide. Mazda keep ignoring the yellow flag, so potentially overtaking. Daniel Lorente taking a very wide line off the track there, as now Harv is looking to have a go at Hukid, who was held behind the Haas. Daniel Lorente still leads this race, as they're ghosted Hukid and Harv as this race begins once again, as there's all sorts of battling back there with Riley and the Light and Lass, but Senya Ghosts almost a second behind. We look for the battle for the final podium. Harv dropping back from Hukid, and now we see Linny trying to muster a move on Vozdakip, and they're going to be very close to contact here as Linny takes the place on Vozdakip and makes it 12th place. So can he charge back for the points? That one position will be got because of that penalty. Obviously penalties could be removed now because there's all sorts of chaos going there. At the safety car restart, we've now got another train here, just as we got 3 laps to go, including this one. 2 laps when they next cross the line. Daniel Lorente has broken away. Senior Ghosts not able to respond. That was a very weird safety car restart, I must say, with both of the top 2 going off the road in the last corner. It looked like almost ghosting, very peculiar, as we're going to break the toe there. We got Jonathan into the top 10. Daniel Lorente with the fastest lap of the race. Hukid now in the range to strike on Senior Ghosts. And Harley as well is in range to strike at Harv. Harv in the Williams. Could Williams be fighting for the podium? Hukid obviously with that 3-second time penalty, as Hukid sweeps to the outside after taking the inside to take the position. Moves back over to the racing line and has the position, as we see Arweb and Destro, and this battle resumes with Destro looking to send one to the inside of turn 8. It's going to be very tight. They make contact. Riley's out of this race towards the rear of the field. Destro now round the outside of turn 10 on Arweb. What a great move this would be, as Arweb, neither driver getting DRS. You see this quite often on this game, and Destro not able to get past Arweb. Pastry's back there. Destro obviously with this penalty, so that is not going to help. I believe that might even be a 10-second because of that, all that safety car chaos. So not what you want to see if you're trying to battle for points, because that's slowing up this teammate, and he's unlikely to actually get a 10-second gap now. But obviously penalties could be removed, as Harley now takes the position on the final lap of the race. Senior Ghosts also will be looking to strike on Hukid. Hukid obviously with that penalty, but he'll want to do it on track as well. Daniel Lorente has had this race under control as the 2 Ferraris swap over towards the midfield. Pastry won't be getting the DRS. His teammate, as well as Arweb, will be looking to the outside. Destro to the outside on Arweb. Arweb very close to contact as the Destro sweeps back through, as there's Perkins in the Salva behind, and throwing it to the inside is Arweb. Arweb very close to contact. They do make contact. Rear right to front left, make contact there, and it seems like they're basically playing bumper cars out there. Senya Ghost still behind Hukid, but Daniel Lorente has had this race under control since the start, despite the strategy. Daniel Lorente be looking for redemption after round 1, and Daniel Lorente now rounds the final corner, and after a disappointing one, takes a very wide line again and wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's Daniel Lorente back on top in RFC after a positive pre-season, a poor round 1, but Daniel Lorente is right back in the championship fight Who Kid, the championship leader, comes home in third. We've got swappings of position, penalties going left, right, and centre. Harley finished fourth. Harv finished fifth. Then I believe it was Arweb and Pastry and Charlotte Perkins and Jonathan and Linny potentially grabbing the final spot in the points. Well, that was all sorts of chaos there as Daniel Lorente reclaims top spot. And there we go. There is your final order. Interesting to see what the stewards think of all that. Penalties and contact behind the safety cars. Not what you want to see, but it's certainly what happened in that race towards the end, and throughout the race there was all sorts of contact happening. Then we'll just scan through the race director, just make sure if we need anything for the stewards that we cover it. So scroll through. Certainly made it an interesting end to the race, but we would have thought there'd be more of a battle for the win, but obviously Daniel doing a great job to claim victory and close the championship back up. Hukid, though, still is the championship leader after this race, apart from if there's any stewards' inquiries. As we did see there, Penguin Alex getting penalties and warnings and all sorts going on, but incidents left, right and centre, jump starts. What more could you want in a race? Well, I mean, obviously you might want some clean racing, but fortunately that's not what you're getting today. As FIA report has been made, and that is basically it for the round 2. There'll be final results posted in the next day or two, and FIA stewards, if you've got any reports, please make them. And the next round in the championship is going to be, next round is obviously on Friday next week, and will be taking place at the Circuit de Catalunya in Spain. So try and avoid the bumps, I guess, at that track. Interesting choice to be made to be put into the calendar, but we'll see some drivers probably going into the gravel. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and join us again in the future.